Awards, and starting with Mass Effect. So finally, at the end of the
Yeah.
show, so Mike and I, not Sweeney because he's not a real trooper, um, Mike and I watched
Lame.
the entire very, very, very long Game
Wait, no, that was
Awards.
the short version. That was the short
No,
version that was short
nah,
about like 20 minutes or
yeah,
something.
just
And
slightly abbreviated.
it wasn't even shorter.
It's like Lord of the Rings, just skipping the preface or something like that. It's
Yeah,
still
something
going to
like
be
that,
long.
yeah.
And we had to wait for the whole night to see what the biggest reveal was, which I don't think it's the biggest reveal. I think the next story is, but Mass Effect. And we didn't know what the game was when it was like playing through it. I'm sure Swinny watched us reacting to it and go, "Are you guys crazy? Don't you
Yeah,
tell this?
I
Can't you tell
know.
that?"
So I'm a huge Mass Effect fan,
And
and I think in the back of my mind the franchise was dead. So I thought,
When
they're not going to really do anything
when
on
you
it.
didn't pick up on the Reaper noise, I was like,
I
Mike,
know.
Mike.
I watched it again. Just that clip, and I'm like, how the hell did I not pick up on that Reaper noise?
So there is one YouTuber
Shame.
that I don't know, it gets recommended to my channels. I think it's the Smash stuff that I watch called Omni, and he was reacting to it, and I watched it, and it got up to the point where the character who picked up the item and it said N7, and he's like, "What is this game? What is this?" And I'm like, "What?" And then he sees the blue person. He goes, "Avatar." And then it comes in and says Mass Effect, and then the chat just goes nuts. It's just like, Avatar. What are you talking
Was he
about?
just joking around though?
No, he wasn't. No, because it was a real
Okay, fair
genuine
enough.
reaction of like, oh shoot, I've said something really dumb now. Like this is just gonna follow him
I think
forever.
it's funny though.
Watching you guys react to it was just, oh man, like the overall Game Awards stuff. I'll give more thoughts later as we wrap up talking about the Game Awards, but it's funny knowing, because I know what the announcement is. It's kind of like, when are they going to pick up on this? When are they going to pick up on it? It was really fun.
But you know
It was
what? You
really
know
fun.
what? I think it was cool, but to me, it just seemed like, hello, everyone.
Well, let's
We
cover
still
that later. Let's cover
exist.
that later. Let's. So with Mass Effect, is it actually 100% clear? Because it seems like a lot of people, the scuttlebutt is like this is more of a Mass Effect 4 than a follow up or anything to do with
So not an
Andromeda.
Andromeda
All right,
2, a Mass
so
Effect
So do you
4.
know more about this, Swinny? Because like I get mixed reactions on this
okay,
one.
so they open up and they specifically show two galaxies. So they show the Milky Way and Andromeda. So
Hmm.
now they
Mm.
basically, that could of course be, oh, they're just referencing that, because Andromeda happens. The story of Andromeda happens completely separate from the main Mass Effect after a certain point in the timeline. Right. So because of the way that, like the space travel works, essentially Andromeda is set like 600 years in the future of when, a certain point in the
Yeah.
main trilogy happened, or the first trilogy. And that could have just been okay. At first, you're like, all right, that's just a cool reference to it. But then there's audio that mentions Arc 6, the Arcs, which is part of Andromeda. So they've gone out of their way to actually make specific mention of the main narrative of Andromeda in this, which is really,
Hmm.
really unexpected. Because while we know that how Andromeda, landed for the vast majority of people, or at least the consensus, I should say. So it's but at the same time, it's definitely a sequel, because I mean Liara's in there and it shows the N7 logo and all that stuff. Wouldn't make sense
Mm.
if it wasn't a sequel to the main trilogy. So it looks like they're possibly trying to do something sneaky where it actually is a sequel really to both in terms of narrative. And we know that
Hmm.
Asari have a very long lifespan. Some people have said, look, that whole 600 years in the future for Andromeda, which, at the time it's like, well, there's no way to connect that back to the main game. Well, maybe there is. Maybe it's via Liara.
But she
So
doesn't live that long, does she?
I'm not sure the exact lifespan of the Asari, but I mean, they're very long lifespans. So that's what some people have said, is that, well, possibly that's a way. I don't think that's it.
Hmm.
I think that there is a way that they're connected, but I think it's also a way of them of kind of tying up a loose end. It has given me hope that we will maybe get some answers to those big open questions at the end of Andromeda that I thought would never be answered, which would be cool, even if it was just in a side quest in the main game. I'd be cool with that, because at least they've they've considered the fact that they just left that hanging. So
I do think they'll handle it the way that Star Wars now handles the prequel trilogy, which is mostly forget about it and focus very much on the original trilogy, but then have specific references back to the prequel trilogy.
just
You know
going
what I
to clarify, Sari have known to be over 1,000 years sometimes.
mean?
So there's a very that's a very possible thing that could happen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And when do you reckon this game's gonna come out? What's your guess?
Oh, it's very early, clearly. I think this is probably a holiday next year game.
Really?
You
That
reckon next
soon?
year? I reckon 2022.
Oh, I was gonna say 2023.
No, I think it's
23.
probably a holiday. Like, I think it's towards the end of next year.
Put your bets in. Put your bets in.
When did Andromeda come out? Like 2 years ago?
No, 2 years. No, it was way before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I think that BioWare generally don't have super long development period. Like, I'm talking like 3-4 years. You know, they're generally historically been a bit quicker than that. Dragon Age is probably an exception to the rules. So we'll see. Maybe it will be longer, but I'm kind of thinking towards the end of next year. Oh, sorry. Sorry,
2017 when
I'm
Andromeda
I was
came out.
thinking. Sorry, I was talking about 2022. So yeah,
So yeah, 2022.
yeah. Sorry,
Alright.
that's,
yeah,
that's
that's
what I
more
meant.
reasonable.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't. Yeah, in my
was like,
head,
wow, that's
in
what
my
I
head it was
expected.
clear.
Yeah.
In my head it was clear. In my voice it was not. So my apologies.
Okay, interesting. And this is obviously something that you both will play on launch, right?
Probably.
Not on launch. If Andromeda's anything to go by.
If a lot of games are anything to go by nowadays.
I mean, the Mass Effect games have always been buggy. It's not just Andromeda, but Andromeda just had the most memeable bugs possible. So yeah, I'll see how it goes, but I probably won't play it at launch. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And the last thing I wanted to ask is, you know how it says Mass Effect will continue? Do you think that that's a bit of a reaction, or yeah, like I guess a reaction to the departures of Casey Hudson and Mark Dara?
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Well,
You
the timing of this is so interesting because they just announced the departures, but clearly this trailer was, you know, I'm just wondering what chicken egg situation. You know, like did they like think, okay, we know these people, we're going to announce this departure. We've known for months they're going to leave. You know, we're going to announce the departure first and then show the trailer so that it kind of softens the blow, if you know what I mean. Because if
Maybe.
you did it the other way, it would be like a Halo situation. You know?
It's right.
Here's an awesome trailer. Oh, by the way, all the main people are leaving.
Because this is a boring part of it, but you know, normally with these type of senior people, they will have contracts where they have to give like 3 months notice minimum, even longer. I've seen 12 months notice.
Wow.
So, you know, they'd known about this for a long time that they're leaving. So, yeah, it just felt oddly emotional. Like the whole will continue. I don't know. It just struck me really strange when I was watching it live. I was like, that's kind of a bit odd. But
it was great though. Like it was a great reveal. You know, I knew that they had mentioned that they're working on the next one, but to actually have it officially announced like this was really great and unexpected. So
what? But that okay. Can I just say quickly, like that seems so strange to me that they announced it in a blog post when they could have announced it like this, which would have had a much bigger impact.
yeah,
So-
I agree. I wonder if because it was announced. That was announced when they announced actually revealed the Legendary Edition. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. On N7 day. I guess they knew that they were leaving. So I guess they wanted everyone to be rest assured in the background that Mass Effect's going to go on, rather than say nothing about Mass Effect. Then they announce that they're leaving, and then they're like, "Oh my god, is BioWare falling apart here?" You know what I mean? So maybe that's why they did it.
But I mean, a lot of people, including clearly Mike as well, didn't hear that news. So
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
So it's still, they probably got the best of both worlds there. You know, it's still
True.
hit. Like, it was a big reveal that no one knew about, but then they'd also done that at previous things. So,
Yeah, and the hardcore fans know. Yeah. Okay.
so you're saying Mike is not a hardcore fan?
No, I just threw it out there.
Well,
Didn't
I
really
think
pick up
I
on it.
used
But...
to be, and of course I'm going to absolutely get the game when it comes out. But like I said, I don't have the same level of expectations as I used to when I was younger. I'm old and bitter and cynical now.
So you got high hopes and low expectations.
I've got extremely low expectations.
Your N7 jacket's all faded, or hoodie, or whatever it was.
Well, if you want to get technical actually about the whole N7 thing, given the fact that Liara stumbled across that and she only had to swipe like a tiny layer of snow off it, it means it must have only been there for like the last hour or so. So, you know, the whole 1,000-year thing.
She used the bionic swipe that had, like, you know, some special power to it.
But I thought at the top of those mountains, it doesn't actually snow.
What do they do? What's an N7 thing doing at the top of those mountains, though?
Well, it's something's blown up, and
this leaves more questions than answers.
What a good trailer or teaser!
And
trailer.
there better be mountains in the game when it comes out. Otherwise, it's one big piece of false advertising.
It's true. All right, well, let's go to the other announcement that was the other bookend for the Game Awards.